All right, hey guys, what's up? We are live today. I'm Brian Meert, CEO of Advertisemint. We specialize in Facebook advertising. So if you guys are, hold on a second, I just realized, let's try it now. Horizontal flip. There we go. Oh, there we go. So some of you may have been backwards, but yeah, we specialize in Facebook advertising. We go live twice a week, every Tuesday and every Friday, to discuss some of the latest things in Facebook advertising and what's kind of coming out in the industry. So with that in mind, I wanted to run over a couple of updates on things that have happened over the past week. Hold on, it looks like one of them's trying to connect. Oh, come on, Facebook. Hold on. There we go. All right, so we're back. So a couple of things. Facebook had a couple of updates that came out this week that were really exciting. Anything that you hear you like, feel free to leave the emotions or the emojis, send them across the screen. If you have any questions about Facebook advertising, go ahead and drop them in the bottom or in the comments. Tell me, what questions you have in relation to Facebook advertising or Instagram. And then also if you just want to say hi, introduce yourself, say where it is that you work, get some PR there, that's fine as well. Throw it in there and I'll try to call people out as things are going on. So a couple quick updates of things that happened this week in the world of Facebook. The first one is actually really important because it has to do with the audience network. So, Facebook has their own, they have their app that people use, but as they're trying to generate more revenue from advertising, they want to be able to expand beyond just what's shown on Facebook. So Facebook has built a partnership program called the Facebook Audience Network. And this is where if you have a mobile app, and they've talked about allowing it on websites where you can now be able to extend the ads that you're creating on Facebook to other places across the internet or mobile devices that allow you to target the people you're looking to reach. So Facebook did 3 new updates this week in regards to Audience Network, instant articles, and in-stream ads, which are ones that appear inside of Facebook Live. So the first one was what they call pre-campaign transparency, which is basically, up until this point, Facebook has shown you nothing. You just select the placement and it kind of goes out. You have no control over where it's shown or to who it's shown or to what type of audience. It could be, a gambling site. It could be an adult-only site. Facebook has some policies, but it's still very vague in terms of where you actually want your ad to appear. So as an advertiser, it's kind of a random, placement that you have very little controls over. So Facebook launched, or at least announced, that they're now going to do pre-campaign transparency, which means you'll now have the ability to start to see where your ads are going to be shown, what type of apps they're going to be on, what type of websites they're going to be displayed on, and you now have the ability to see where those are. And this is big because things like in-stream articles or in-stream ads appear on people that are going live on Facebook. So these could be celebrities or people that you're wanting to be in touch with or are aligned with maybe who your audience is or your core audience. So, again, really good. I felt like they needed this for a while since they launched those, but it's good that they're getting there now. So again, these are great tools, it's a great feature for advertisers to be able to have more control. I mean, to some extent, it's just transparency, meaning up till now it's been hidden, and now they're going to say, hey, you have the ability to see where your ads are being shown. So at least you're paying for it, you should be able to see where your ad is being displayed. The second update that they did is now blocking at the account level. So what happens is, with the Audience Network, you have the ability to block out some kind of basic categories, but not on the account level. So what this means is, if you have competitors, if you have certain places where you're like, I never, want my ad to appear on a political site, where people are discussing politics, or on a dating site, there's just certain places that you don't want it to go, or games, I don't want it to appear in or around people who are just playing games online. So you have the ability now to start to block and exclude some of these categories, but on the account level, which means I never want any of my ads ever to show on these other apps or other sites, which again, as an advertiser is a great option for you to be able to target the people that you want to be able to reach. The third update that they did was the choice over video placements in audience networks. So to some extent, right, up till now, there's been three kind of formats that you can do. You can do in-stream, which is in the middle of something playing. You can do native, which would be inside of the app. So a newsfeed ad is a native format where it appears just like the other content that is appearing on the site. And then finally, the last one is interstitial. So Facebook has now given you the option. Up till now, when you select the Facebook audience network, it kind of breaks it into all three of those and they show you what they look like, but you have no control over which ones are being shown at all. It just includes all three. So Facebook is now allowing you the option to be able to target your ads towards whichever one of those that you want, which again is great. Again, more controls for advertisers. This is a great option to allow you to be able to start to look at which ones are maybe most profitable and how to be able to get the best bang for your buck to some extent. So again, good updates from Facebook. Another update that Facebook put out this week is that they announced 2 new features for the Facebook Creative Hub. And for those of you who don't know, the Creative Hub is a way on Facebook that you can be able to access through the Business Manager, where you can upload creatives. You can look at, there's a variety of different creative tools to help you when you are creating your ads. Whether it's Canvas ads or different formats or things like that. They've got a lot of resources, best practices, as well as tools to be able to help you kind of maximize your creative. So what they did was they announced 2 new features this week for the Creative Hub. So the first one was video results. And to some extent, this is simply a snapshot of results from creative video content, and it allows you to test creative. So this is cool because you can now be able to run small creative variations and actually get some volume behind it or some ad spend behind it, and then you can come back and look at the results. Which ones have longer video view times, which ones are better optimized for the time on video view times. There's a lot of things, click-through rates, all of that data can now be kind of passed back through or synced with the Creative Hub to be able to help you to optimize from the Creative Hub and create the best possible creative that will help you get the results you want. So again, a great update there, and it's kind of just syncing 2 areas. The other option or update that they announced was what they call to enable delivery. So this allows you, as you're doing creative and maybe you're sending it to other people for approval, a lot of times what happens is you both need to upload it to Facebook, but then you also need to take it and send it into Dropbox and send someone a link so that they can be able to, actually view the creative file, the video file. So what Facebook is now doing is, since you're uploading it to Facebook anyway, they're allowing you to have a link that you can be able to send right from Facebook. So you no longer really need to use Dropbox. It's just a single place that when you're uploading creative, you can then send to clients or people to review the file and say, hey, what are your thoughts on this? Here's the video creative. I wanted you to see it. Give it approval before it goes live. So again, great updates for advertisers and a couple more features that are able to be shown to help you get better results from your campaigns. The last update I have for today was that they announced the 2017 Facebook advertising winners, what they call the Facebook Award winners. And this is where they offer awards for all types of advertising agencies or people creating campaigns on Facebook that are creative and leverage Facebook's platform to be able to get the very best results and kind of excellence in advertising. And very rarely are these just like a Facebook ad. A lot of times they're a full-blown kind of campaign around utilizing Facebook and getting the best type of results possible. And so what they do is they break it into a couple of categories. They have love, they have wow, they have cry, they have laugh, and then they have act, like taking action towards something. And there was a couple winners that stood out to me that were just phenomenal. And I love seeing a good ad campaign when it's put together, because a lot of times there's a lot of thought that goes into it. And what you may see in 30 seconds seems very quick and, kind of fleeting. But a lot of times in that amount of time, if you have the ability to, invoke an emotion or capture someone's interest or get them talking about a product or service, the ones that were the winners just do it in a very, very well way, or very good way. So I wanted to talk about a couple of the winners that were there, and you guys can check them out. If you Google Facebook Awards, you'll be able to see some of the winners from this past year. For WOW, they did a campaign on the Sydney Opera House. So if any of you have ever been to, I'm trying to think what the city is where it's at. It's Sydney. It's Sydney Opera House. I just said that. Oh man, it's one of those days. So if any of you have ever been to Sydney, one of the most famous landmarks is the Opera House. And what they were saying was that 99% of the people who visit the Opera House never actually go inside of it. So what they did was they created a campaign where, as people were posting photos to Instagram of the Sydney Opera House, what they would do is they had a team waiting in the background that would find them and then message them with a video from inside the Opera House and say, hey, why don't you come in right now? So they knew that people were outside, taking these photos. They would then invite them in, and they would meet them outside and bring them in for like a behind-the-scenes tour to be able to see the Sydney Opera House. So again, a really cool campaign, and they had all the different elements of the Opera House, whether it was the restaurant or the food or the costume design or the people who were playing musical instruments. They would bring them up and have them interview or hang out with the different people of the area. So again, really exciting. I thought it was a great campaign, and that one won for WOW. When it came to SAD, there was a really good campaign by Sandy Hook Promise. And basically what it is this came out of what is school shootings, or that most people aren't aware or able to tell the signs of what they say. That most school shootings have signs that lead up to where a student breaks down and then goes and gets a gun and shoots people. So what they did was they created an ad or a video that highlights a story of a student. But what happens is, in the background of this story, there's a secondary story behind. And what they asked people was, were you able to tell the signs? And then go back and watch it, and you can see a secondary character, and you see him struggling or looking at magazines with guns or things like that in the background, up until at the very end of the video, it shows the door open and he's there with a gun as all the kids run screaming. But man, so powerful in terms of being able to get people to think, to realize that there's something more. A lot of times, something that you should look beyond simply the main focus of the story. But very, very creative and very effective. When it came to love, TV2 Denmark had an ad or a campaign that won an award. And basically what they did is they just put people into groups, kind of based on, here's the fitness people, here's different groups of people, based on kind of genres that, we may, naturally, put, people into. And then what they did is they started to ask them questions, and they had a box in the middle that they would go and stand in if they fit that category. And they asked them a variety of different questions that were personal. Some of them would be like, were you the class clown? And so what happened was, it didn't matter which box people were standing in every one of them there was probably someone that was like, yeah, I was a class clown. And it brought them into the middle box to show how much alike we are, regardless of the labels that people give us on the outside. So man, it's very good, very emotional. And that was the one that won for love with the Facebook Awards. And then finally, when it came to haha, the one that won for laughter or funny, there was a campaign by Tomcat Rodent Control. And basically, right, their whole business is around killing mice or, things that are in your house running around. But what they did was, and I love this one, they created a video of like these little, how do I say it, like stuffed mice, right? That were just like little toys or whatever. And what they would do is they mimicked it like a horror movie where they were out in the woods and they were camping and they're like, hey, what should we do? And they made a Facebook Live video out of these mice out there, and they then said, hey, we need your help to decide how this mice should die, or this mouse should die. And they gave 3 options and let people voted on it. And then what happened is they would show that method at the end of that. And oh man, it is really funny. If you haven't seen it, definitely take a couple moments, check it out. But it made me smile, and it's a fun way of creating something fun or interesting out of, a core business, which could be, rodent control, which doesn't necessarily seem on the surface as something that would be like, oh, that's going to be really fun to advertise. But they did a great job of being able to bring it back to something that was fun for people. So anyway, they've got a whole bunch of the other winners there with videos explaining some of the campaigns. If you have time, I would definitely recommend checking those out, and simply finding, a lot of times it's a good idea on what you can be doing, or what you could be doing, just to get ideas for creative or things like that for your Facebook campaigns. So anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. Again, we go live every Tuesday and every Friday. So feel free to like our fan page on Facebook to be able to follow us. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that allows you to be able to be notified when we do go live. And yeah, that's kind of it for today. But if you have any questions, always leave them in the comments. I'll address them sometimes in the videos, or sometimes after the videos are completed. But that's it. Cool. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.